All right, we are live. Welcome to the Spin and Backfist MMA show, post UFC 304 edition. Not as loud with my normal intro. I'm at my mom's, trying not to wake her up 2 in the morning as we're doing this almost. Big card in Manchester, just capped off by Belal Muhammad beating Leon Edwards. I cannot believe what I just watched, to be quite honest. I feel like we should start at the main event. I mean, congrats to Paddy. Amazing performance, flawless performance over King Green. Paddy is the King Slayer. But I mean, I just can't believe Belal Muhammad just dominated Leon Edwards to the level that he did.
Yeah, what a performance by Belal. Even his striking looked really good at points. It felt a little bit like a flat performance from Leon. His best moment was with 20 seconds left in the fifth round, which is a bit ironic considering his past. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say outside of the fact that Belal Muhammad put on a hell of a performance tonight, and he did what he had to do to walk out of there to be the champ. And what a career for the guy.
Belal did what Belal does. He made it it was the most Belal-y fight of all time. I've never seen a more Belal-y fight than that fight in the main event. He has this way of like, and Jack, you said it too, and you have to give him some credit, especially early on. The jab was popping. I mean, he is maybe not Marcus Maidana,
not Canelo,
but it was popping. It was. I'll give him that. Early on, I was impressed. But yeah, Leon, I think he just came out flat. I think he was one of those where we talked about it in like other sports where it almost was like you don't get up for that. Like he just didn't get up for the fight. I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. Belal was maybe someone that didn't get him at a bed to train kind of thing. Like you're not waking up at 5 a.m. being like Belal Muhammad's the guy. But guess what? He is the guy. Now he's the guy.
He's the champ.
Yeah.
What do we do?
He earned it fair and square.
What do we do with this division? Do we run back Leon, or is it Shavkat?
Shavkat. They have plans.
Right away?
Shavkat, or is it Usman?
Usman, no. Maybe. But I think Shavkat. Dana, I watched, right before we recorded, I was watching, I rewinded back a little bit, watched the presser. That was like the first question they asked Dana. And Dana was like, no, basically like, no rematch, no chance.
Wow.
He literally said his direct quote. He said, do you think you're going to run this back or going to let Leon rest? He goes, we're going to let Leon rest. We have other plans. His direct quote.
He's like, we got to get that title off Belal.
I said Shavkat. He already called Shavkat. Remember when he called like that night when they had the shitty title fight between Ankalaev and Leon? And they called Jamal Hill that night. We're like, yo, you want to fight for the title? That's what they did to Shavkat's manager literally as of like 20 minutes ago. They're like, hey, you want to fight Belal in like 3 months?
Before we go any further, let's thank our friends at DraftKings, of course. You love prize fighting. You love the sweet science. You're not going to want to miss out on a huge night of fights coming up, headlined by Crawford versus Madrimov. Get in on all of the action now with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a fighter to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your fighter, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And speaking of huge, if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I used DraftKings tonight. I placed 2 bets tonight because honestly, I just forgot. I was like wrapped up in writing blogs. I wanted to place more bets. I only placed 2. Paddy moneyline and Tom Aspinall knockout. It was a great night for me. I was up. So thank you, DraftKings. As always, the best. Paddy, though. Oh, Lee, welcome. What's going on, Lee? How are you?
Good, fellas. How we doing?
Paddy, what a performance. I mean, I was nervous. This is the biggest fight in Paddy's career, obviously. We talked about the swing on where the fans were with Paddy, the haters and everything. high swing, low swing. If he wins this fight, okay, Paddy's legit. If he loses this fight, people are going to be like, this guy's a fraud. He made it look easy. Like, I didn't think he was going to make it look easy. Never a doubt, never a moment where I'm like, oh my God, he got clipped or something. They're showing the highlights right now. Crazy. He choked him out and armbarred him. He beat him twice.
Yeah, Lee, do you have something?
Talk about Paddy first, and then we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Paddy, amazing. Just what he needed, just what the doctor ordered. It was phenomenal. I even think he looked decent on the feet. I know it didn't really get going on the feet as much as we would have loved to see. Now, on top of it, those leg kicks were looking good. It felt like he was a little bit more calm than he has been in past fights. I'm really excited to see what he has in store for next. And just talking to the guys that we know from his camp, they said he looked really good throughout the camp, and he's coming into his own. I mean, who knows how far he can take this, but tonight was a great win, great performance. And as he said, they'll move the goalposts on him, but shout out Paddy. That's what just when he needed. First round finish in a great finish. I mean, the guy, he was asleep.
Yeah.
King Green was asleep.
Yeah.
No, he needed it bad. That was, like you said, decisive as it gets. Big finish, exciting. I think he leveled up a little bit. I think it was definitely a fight where it was like now I think that's the kind of performance where now, like you said, listen, they'll move the goalposts back on him regardless. I think that puts him almost like past the like the fraud check moniker, whatever you want to say. Like, you just go out there and just like put Bobby Green away like that. I mean, definitely an impressive win. Paddy was the winner of the night.
Yeah.
He got $200K in bonuses. Dana said that he got the double bonus.
It's awesome.
Nah, he's the winner of the night. Paddy was the star of the night.
Good call out too. Moicano is a good call out.
I love that fight. I mean, he's already fighting BSD, but I
don't like the call out.
You don't? Why not?
He's an opponent.
Yeah, but they already have like the they have the back and forth already. And it's like if he beats BSD, that ranking is going to be amazing.
I think win or lose, it makes sense. Like, honestly, if Moicano wins, he gets a huge call out in Paddy, a guy that's surging up the rankings, a guy that already has fans, and Moicano wants that in a guy. And if he loses, Moicano will also be like still a top 15 guy, a guy that's ranked like 12, 11 maybe after a loss. And Paddy will probably be ranked like 13 or 14 after this win. So it would still make sense no matter what.
Bro, did you see what Dana just said?
Oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
What did he say?
He
said the PFL is going to get a great undefeated fighter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was.
He actually said it.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that.
Wow.
Wow.
Before we get into Mokaev, I mean, Tom Aspinall did it again. I mean, it's almost like I feel I'm going to give the floor to Big F, but I was thinking after that fight, man, I wish we could watch Tom Aspinall fight more. It's not that he's not active. It's just the fights are over like that. Like, we don't even really get to see him in there for too long. But, yeah, what a performance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but it went literally exactly as I said it would go. Exactly, like to a T. Like I said, highly likely under 2-3 minutes. It was exactly 1 minute. People just to talk to the people saying the stoppage was a little early. I see it, I understand it, but I also think from the angle who was it, Goddard?
Yeah. Was it?
Whoever it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ref in the fight. The angle he was at, like, there's a point where he's raining down those big, like, ground and pound type punches, and his body is like up, and then it just goes limp. Like, when you see that, you're thinking you're about to walk into like a Bobby Green, Jalen Turner situation. So I understand the stoppage, but I also think if he lets it go, he probably just lands a few more, and then it actually is like a flatline knockout. So I don't think the stoppage, like, it's a little early probably, but I don't think anything would have really changed if he just lets it go another 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I didn't have an issue with the stoppage. Like, I do understand from Blade's point of view. Like, when Blades came to, he was fine and arguing with the finish, but like, come on, that fight was over. It was going to
And,
be over regardless.
I mean, this goes to show the power of Tom Aspinall, but I mean, he put him down with a jab. Like, it wasn't like it was there. It wasn't like, oh, obviously what he did to Pavlovich. I mean, he hit him back here, really stunned him. That was when he went down. In the moment, I was like, how did that happen? And then you saw the replay, and then, I mean, Tom took advantage of it. And there's no other fight. I mean, I know they're going to do the Stipe fight. I wonder if John will ever take the fight. But, I mean, it stinks that we can't just – no disrespect to Stipe. The fight to make in the UFC right now is John Jones against Tom Aspinall. There's no – like, it's the fight to make. I know what obviously Max and Ilya is going to happen, but that's the fight. And it stinks that we may never see it, because I saw a good tweet from Aaron Bronstetter. He said, I mean, if John doesn't fight Tom, I mean, I guess gone. Like, that's really, like, who else is up there for him? I know Ngannou's still, but I mean, Ngannou's not, like, who knows if that would ever happen? Probably not.
No. Ngannou will never fight in the UFC again. That's done.
I don't think so either.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it has to be gone. Like, I mean, if it's not John Jones, I don't know who else it would be.
And then if it's not gone, let's say he runs through Gone. Like, I know you could have this about a lot of divisions, but this is the number one division you can have. It's like, who
he's gonna?
Galton, like, eventually, but like,
especially if John Jones never fights him, Tom Aspinall might just like skip through the heavyweight division and becoming the greatest heavyweight of all time. Like, the way he's gonna just like run through these people. Like, who has something for him right now besides John Jones, even to make it? And right now, for the odds they're saying, like, the early whatever, is a pick 'em with John Jones.
Wow.
But I mean, if it's not John Jones, like, all these other guys are easy work. I mean, if it's not Pavlovich, like I said, if he runs through Gone, there's no one that can even come close.
Like Pavlovich rematch, but that's
like we saw, like,
I know.
He's too fast for these guys. His hands are too fast.
Yeah.
And I even think Blades caught him with a good shot. And Pavlovich did too. He's shown, even in like very small doses, he can take a punch.
Yeah.
It's heavyweight. Anything can happen. Like, you get complacent. You reach a spot where, like, you don't show up one night. It could happen, obviously. But I think I think his hands are just too fast. He's too athletic. He hits too hard. He is just such a mismatch for all these heavyweights. And he's too well-rounded. Because there's nothing you can, like, even like a Blades, like, he didn't get to even have the opportunity to, but he wasn't going to grapple him. He can't.
Yeah.
Like, Aspinall's not going to get, like, taken and, like, held down. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way.
I thought it was really funny in the post-fight when he he calls out Jones. Basically, he's like, I just talked to the boss man that, these people would love to see it. And then DC's like, talk to John Jones, like, tell him. And he's just like the most polite Tom Aspinall British, like, Edo John, I think I'm better than you. Nothing against you, but I think maybe I'd like to test it out. Nothing against you, mate. It was just funny to see. There was a few funny, like, post-fight interviews tonight. There were a few really good ones. Mick Parsons cracked me up early. He couldn't understand a word out of his mouth, but he was funny.
That's what he's like. I just think I can beat you.
Yeah.
Mick Parkin, that was a big knockout by Mick Parkin.
It was.
Him
good.
Him and Derek Lewis have to fight at some point. That has to happen. Good. I don't know if it's going to be like the next fight. It could be, honestly. Or like 2 down the line for Mick Parkin, or like however down the line. That fight has to happen at some point.
Him and Ty.
That too. Ty's got a Rosenstrike in a few weeks.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That's a huge fight for him. He needs one bad, really bad.
Yeah.
We do have to give a shout out to a guy, and this is one of Lee's favorite fighters and one of mine now. I mean, Robocop maybe. Also, did anybody else feel that Robocop tonight had like a decent chin? Like, it felt like he ate a decent. I mean, Leroy didn't really land specific, like really clean, but he got close, and I felt maybe if he unlocks something in his chin, Robocop special. I mean, I thought what he did to Leroy Duncan tonight. Like, I know people will not think it's a big deal and whatnot. I thought that was. There was a lot of great performances tonight. That's up there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the visual of the end of the fight of like, you know, the blood like trickling into both of their faces was fucking gnarly.
Christian Leroy Duncan is respectfully just not that good. I think Robocop is very good. I don't not to discredit the win. I just think Duncan's like a UFC fighter at best. I think there's a lot of unranked guys that beat him like relatively easily.
Yeah, I mean, Petrosian like kind of walked through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and I think he'll be around because I mean he's got the English draw, and then also he's a fun fighter to watch. But you are right, he's not that good.
Like, he's so young. Like, that's the only thing like that's stopping me from like being like he's like a total bum. He's never gonna be in anything. Like, that's the only thing. Like, he's 28. Like,
okay, so I mean,
he could.
That is something that if he gets, what camp is he at?
He's out of Mark Weir's camp, but he trained a lot with Leon for this camp.
Right.
I know he was in like a lot of the embeddeds. They were working together for this, but
tough camp.
By the way, I have the post show on right now. One, they just tried to show highlights from Mokaev and Kape, and there's no highlights to show. And two, I'm pretty sure Chael Sonnen's eyebrows haven't grown back yet because he's still wearing the sunglasses, and from the side, it looks like they're very thin.
Mokaev and Kape, I know we talked about Mokaev going to the PFL, but I mean, truly,
These schmucks.
Truly, they spent, I mean, I understand Kape kind of got going, then something happened with his toe, but it was just, that's the best way to say it, Robbie. These schmucks, they
strung us along all week.
And then in that first round, even before the injury of Mokaev from Kape, they did nothing.
Beltran was like, "Come, you guys hate each other, remember? Like, they fought in the hotel. They were looking for each other in the streets of Manchester. They were trying to fight each other at the ceremonial weigh-ins. They're throwing water bottles. They're saying, I'm going to fucking kill you. They won't even get near each other. They get in the cage 2 seconds before they're about to fight. They try to fight. And then when they're allowed to fight, nothing. Like, literally nothing.
They had full security details restraining them in the cage that they couldn't wait 7 seconds to get at each other, and then they stared at each other for 3 minutes straight to start the fight, and really stared at each other for 15 minutes straight.
They like point fighted. It was horrible.
I mean, crazy. And then they hugged after.
Yeah,
I wanted to puke.
Oh, I hated that.
They didn't even do enough to earn each other's respect.
That's what I said in the blog. I was like, you're telling me that they made up after that fight, after those 15 minutes? No. You don't get to make up after that.
Dude, Mokaev, that's got to be the most underwhelming 7-0 in the history of the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, every single fight he has, or at least last like 3-4, have all been the same. Just very like math performances against like decent, like Perez, I think is solid. Like Kape, I think is solid. But just decisions that could have went either way. Were very low volume. I mean,
at the fucking shorts grab.
I mean, yeah, he should have lost a point for that. I mean,
definitely.
But even I thought Kape, like honestly, I did bet Kape. People say I'm biased. I thought he even like could have won the fight. I mean, there was so little activity. It almost was like how you can be so decisive from Mokaev. Like he did literally nothing.
The third round, to be honest. Mokaev didn't really do much, and then Kape kind of, if anything, did more on the bottom.
Yeah, those elbows. Yeah, he had a couple of nice sequences with the elbows. I mean,
and then Mokaev's final moment in the UFC was pointing to the middle of the cage like he was Holloway, and then he threw a flailing head kick, and then a flailing punch, and then he backed up. Like he didn't even engage.
Yeah, disgusting.
I don't I don't never call for a man's job. Get that dude out of here. Out of here.
Yeah, I did the
Gonzo.
same. Like I'm the same way. I don't like saying like cut these people, but I was like, yeah, no. The fact that he called for a title shot in his post-fight interview after that performance, yeah, do not re-sign him.
I mean, I tweeted, I was like, Pantoja facing one of these two guys next is insane because Pantoja would run through both of them very easily. In my opinion, like Pantoja 50-45 is like a very easy task against either one of them.
Yeah.
Do they even have that division in the PFL?
No. So that was the next thing I was going to say.
No.
They don't have a 125 or a 135 division.
Yeah, and
they don't have 35 anymore.
I guess it's 45. Like
they could do Bellator. Yeah, you could do Bellator at 135.
But that would just be for a year, like anyway, and like it'd be like 1 or 2 fights, like max.
Could he go to 1?
Like, I guess. He'll just do like a. All right, let me say this. I'm gonna lick the boot for a second. People were very like, why is Steve Erstad getting a title shot? He's ranked 10th. That's why. That fight is why. That's why they knew.
They knew. Arnold Allen, good performance, not as dominant, I think, as maybe we thought.
Giga just he literally ran away from him. I do think it wasn't as dominant. I wish Arnold went a little bit more with the grappling because I think he even had kind of a moment in the first round early where he could have got in on a takedown, but he didn't really go for it. But I mean, by the second round, even at the end of the first, he got that striking going, the timing going, and Giga, But I mean, Arnold's great, at least in my opinion. Giga, I don't even know what to say about him. I mean, it's just cut him. Like I think he's boring. I think he's
cut him.
Like
I don't think he's getting old. This performance, but he ran. Wasn't a good
ran away.
Going for him. Yeah,
I just it was boring.
Arnold Allen, I'm pretty sure, is still relatively young. So I feel like there still is a lot of upside to his career. I agree with Jack. I think he's very good. I'm afraid he's going to find himself in this weird spot right now where he's going to become like this elite, like top 5 gatekeeper where like, I'm just curious where you kind of go with him next because like he's lost to some of the top like 5 guys, but I really believe he beats almost anybody outside that. So I wonder where you go with him.
I mean, if he gets on a run, let's say for the next year or so, he's never fought Ilya, and if Ilya stays on top, you can sell kind of England, Spain, international, and it's like Allen's got hot, but he would have to win probably. You are right. Like I mean, like. He's
lost to Holloway. He's lost to Evlov. I think he should fight. Like I would love to see him fight like a Yair or someone like that. That'd be fun.
That's a great fight.
I mean, if that almost like the 2 top 5 gatekeepers like for who gets to stay.
Yair is the fight to make if Yair isn't fighting Ige. But, like, Aljamain, right? Like, Aljamain's a new guy to 45. I don't think Aljamain versus Arnold Allen in a 5-round main event is the worst thing ever.
But am I wrong? Was the Sterling Evloev fake?
No, they both signed it. It's 307.
They will.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you are right. I agree. Sterling Allen would be a great fight. Like, but if Sterling beats Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Let's say Evloev wins against Sterling, but Sterling would be in a weird spot there. Like, what would he want to do?
It's probably Ortega Lopez is getting the next title shot, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have time off no matter what. So then AAA versus Aljamain, if he wins or loses, could make sense no matter what.
Actually, I wouldn't mind a like Arnold Allen, like Josh Emmett, maybe, or something like that too. Yeah. I don't hate that either.
All right.
I was going to say, before we continue with the UFC card, let's remind everybody that there's also a PFL card going on Friday, August 2nd, with women's flyweights and heavyweights headed to Nashville. Ev and Jack are going to be there. If you are going to be there in Nashville, make sure you say what's up to them. It's win or go home as fighters compete for a spot in the $1 million PFL World Championship. Don't miss the action. Friday, August 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Also, you can get tickets available now, so go get them. Again, tune in on ESPN and ESPN Plus this Friday, August 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a good card. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be there. Evan and I will be there. It'll be fun. We'll talk more about that this week in terms of any bets and whatnot. And then we have a Dakota Decheva interview, right?
Yep. We'll put that out this week as well. Tough night for Meatball Molly. She went in as a huge favorite, got dominated, fought through a hard first round. Like, she got dropped with some tough body shots, wound up fighting through it, showed a lot of heart in the fight, but did not come up with the win. Devastating, but, you know, she seemed to take it well in the cage instantly afterwards.
Something's going on at that fight camp in Brazil. I'll say, I'll be the first one. Something's going on down there, bro.
It was a crazy good performance by her, Bruna.
These fighters,
they don't lose.
They don't lose, and when they do lose, you have to kill them to lose.
Since anyone's went to fighting nerds, have they lost a fight in the UFC?
Last week, what's his name lost? The Brazilian, what's his name, Lee? He lost. He was on like the prelims last week. He was in Fight Nerds. I'll find his name. He's the only one I can think of who's lost.
I mean, this camp was unbelievable. No, I mean,
really are.
Molly was super tough. I mean, that second one where she put her hand, she touched her hands to the mat, I was like, oh my god, she's done.
Yeah.
Her abs were so fucking red.
Hollabaugh.
It was almost like pink.
The guy Hollabaugh beat.
Oh, Kanan.
Oh, like Kowalski or whatever. How they were supposed to
He's from fight, but he's the only one I could think of who's lost since he's fought. And then maybe they just have great trainers down there. I don't know. They may have great trainers. I don't know. But yeah, no, Molly, unfortunate. It looked like she took it well. I agree, Robbie, but yeah, it sucks. I mean, she definitely fought, she gave a valiant effort. Bruna Brazil looked really good. I mean, I
feel like the fact that it's hard to people are going to be like, oh my God, you guys with the glazing Paddy and Molly, but I don't want to say it was a moral victory to not get finished in the first, but it was to the level in the first where I was like, oh my God, I think she's about to get finished. The fact that she made it through the fight was very impressive to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, the fact that she was grounded by those body shots and then took body shots from knees in that round later.
Had moments of success later too.
Yeah, so I mean, we know Meatballs is a tough son of a bitch, as they say, but yeah, it still stinks. I mean, we wanted to see her get that W, and yeah, I don't know what's next for her. I think the UFC will always want her to fight with them, and if she wants to keep fighting, we'll still support her no matter what.
Nathaniel Wood.
Pineda. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about that one. The fact,
insane.
I don't even. Nathaniel Wood. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think he's a good fighter, but the fact he didn't finish Pineda at any point in that fight.
You had him finish, right?
Yeah, and then Lee had
Yeah.
under 2.5. It was just
Like under 2.5 was like free. Like he was dead at like the halfway point in round 2.
it was
Like
dead. And his legs were dead too.
crazy that he doesn't get a finish there. Like put Nathaniel Wood back at 35. Like, I'm done with this 45 experiment, losing to Naimov and taking Daniel Pineda to 3-round decision when Daniel Pineda never goes to decision. It's insane to me.
Pineda,
Nathaniel Wood's on my shit list.
Pineda's eye was fucked up
gross.
with 4 minutes left in the second round. And Wood just stayed on the outside and was just like, oh, here. Then he goes, and then the guy's dead, and then he goes into his guard.
A tough one for the fellas. That was. I feel like that was gross. It was gross. I didn't even have it, and I was watching it. I was like, this is disgusting. I was like, he was wobbling around the second round, like it was like the entire second half of the second round. He was getting backed up, just like loosely backpedaling, just trying to survive. Yeah, Wood. It is weird because you see the skill set. It's there. I don't know if it's like the killer instinct he lacks, or like I don't know what it is. It just feels like whenever he fights, it's like it's like he leaves something on the table always. There was always a little more that you wanted to see that you just didn't get out of him, even when he wins. Because he's won 3 of his last 4. It's not like he's out here just losing these fights.
Yeah. Anything on the was Jake Hadley? Anything on the Jake Hadley fight? I mean,
Lee had a great tweet.
Callan, they were calling him stuck in the mud. It was tough commentary. He was like laughing at him.
Callan not being able to take Lee had a great tweet. Go ahead, Lee.
How?
Yeah.
How did Hadley get taken down by every 25er in America? And suddenly Loughran, this big old 35er, just can't take him down for the life of him. Makes no sense to me. Like, I've always been higher on Hadley. I've always thought he's been given tough fights at 25. He's been okay. He's probably been better than what we've given him. But like Loughran is the kryptonite to Hadley. And it was insane to me that he couldn't get a single leg for the life of him. He couldn't get a double leg for the life of him. And he was just okay there, just trading jabs and letting Hadley do whatever the hell he wanted to from outside the black line. Like, Hadley was just countering him, and Loughran was doing nothing.
Yeah. There's nothing. You can't really say anything else. His head, the size of his head's insane.
It is. Yeah.
Like maybe the angle was different tonight in the arena. By the way, ESPN Plus had a hell of a night. Big Ben. There were some weird audio issues. There was a point where I really thought we were going to come back to the Gregor fight, and Gregor was going to be dead because that guy finds ways to lose. And that was how my night was going.
Just like a still shot of the arena for a while. I was like making sure my thing wasn't frozen and that it was for everyone.
The Big Ben one was the one where I was truly
so weird.
Like, am I seeing things? Like, I was like,
the third time I was like cracking up at it. And it's like also, a bad stat about him too.
When they came back on the Gregor Rodriguez fight, like Duncan threw a crazy spinning back elbow. Like the second it came back, I was like, I literally thought, Jack, I thought what you thought. I was like, no, we're gonna come back. And Rodriguez had an unreal first round, and I'm gonna come back. This is gonna be just like dead on the mat.
He's gonna be dead.
And I'm gonna be like, what the fuck happened? ESPN Plus, they blew it tonight. They were bad, really bad.
There's some just within the chat, and we love the chat, but a lot of people are down on Leon. I get why people are down on him, but it's tough to also this guy, he fought at like 5:30 in the morning. I don't know if that had an effect. So did Belal, but Belal is more on the American time zone. Also, Leon's given us a lot of great fights. Well,
wasn't a great performance, but yeah, I'm not like so down on him. I mean, he got dumped on his head.
what's the
early.
best? What's the best fight Leon's given us?
The
Honestly,
Usman knockout will
Usman-
forever be in like memory.
Yes,
It was the
but
knockout.
fight. Well, I would say Nate Diaz probably, and he was
Yeah,
beating
Nate
the shit
Diaz.
out
I
of
would say the Nate Diaz.
and he
one.
was beating the shit out of him the whole time. And the only reason you say that was because he almost got knocked out at the end. And I'm a bigger Leon guy as almost anybody. I love Leon.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, these great fights, I wouldn't say like he's had these like. I mean, he doesn't get in wars. That's not really his. Not
But
really his thing.
He's very active.
Yep.
But it's a good point to make about Leon. Like, how bad were Usman and Colby when he fought him? Like, how
I
bad?
don't want to do that to him. I was saying more just the action in his fights. I don't know if I want to all of a sudden
I
revision
agree.
this like he's not that
I think
good.
I think it's a
I think
fair
he got caught.
question.
Listen, the word I was looking for earlier in the podcast, I think it was before Lee was on. Classic college football. He got caught in a fight look-ahead spot. This Belal Muhammad is the ultimate title look-ahead spot. And I think Leon was already on to the next because even like the 5 a.m. shit, Belal had to go 6-hour time difference. He fought at the same time. I don't think and I love Leon. I wish I could throw him that rope. I don't think I can here. Belal fought at the same time. His was probably even tougher. He came out flat. Leon, he laid an egg straight up. He just laid an egg.
Fair enough. Also, a fight that we talked about earlier, though, Mokaev. Chris Curtis just asked if we can do a Mokaev for Patchy Mix trade. I am very much in the idea.
It's a good idea.
That.
I don't think they would make that trade.
No deal.
Yeah,
no deal.
Was there anything on the early prelims you guys wanted to touch on? Oban, Elliott, Bukauskas got a submission.
I think Sam Patterson's not bad. It's
Sam
just,
Patterson too, yeah.
I think he's a decent fighter. He'll always have like kind of a not a chin issue. It just seems like there's always possibility he can get just flatlined. Oban Elliott really fought well, man.
It was
bad
a good fight,
by me on Preston, but yeah, Oban looked really good in there. I don't know,
good fight
like
by him,
dude, like
good fight by Mick Parkin, like we mentioned earlier.
The takedowns Preston Parsons was in on, and Oban Elliott was like it was almost like I couldn't believe it. It was a bad bet by me on Preston Parsons, but there were like if you sent me 3 screenshots of what the moments ahead of this fight that Preston Parsons was in on Oban Elliott and the rounds that all different rounds. I feel I would have still taken it, but Oban somehow fucking like it. I don't know what he had the greatest takedown defense of the night.
I couldn't believe it. I truly couldn't. Like, I think the commentary was saying something about like Welsh wrestling or like UK wrestling, but like that like the Shore squad, like the Jack Shore's dad runs the gym, like they have good wrestling there, like, but it was still very surprising to me. The performance of the early prelims to me was Bukauskas.
100%. Great fight too, really good fight.
Yeah, like he just came out of nowhere and he showed stuff that hasn't been seen before in his fights, especially in a second UFC stint where he's now like being known as like maybe he can be like a top 15 guy in the light heavyweight division. Like he showed something tonight against Pragnio. But Pragnio was tagging him. Like let's be clear, like Pragnio was tagging him for sure. But to come back and get that finish in that way was very impressive to me.
What were the cards? Was it 2018 on all 3 going into that?
No
third?
way. I thought
No.
Bukauskas clearly. I thought he clearly won the first round, in my opinion.
It was 1919 on 2 cards and 2018 Bukauskas on the other one.
When I was saying 2018, I was saying in favor of Bukaw.
Oh, my bad. Because
no. Yeah.
The second round had such a crazy exchange where Bukowski just hurts him with a punch, like he sits him down for a second, and then starts getting wild, and then Prachnio that kick came up so fast.
Yeah,
he just like flipped that kick up and landed it so clean, and Bukowski didn't know what planet he was on for like a couple minutes. I mean, but then Prachnio was touching him up like for like a big chunk of that second round. But then Bukowski's kind of flipped it on its head the last like minute of the round. That was a crazy round. I thought Prachnio won the round, but I mean, for him to get that choke in the third round was insane. Because I thought he was going for the arm. I mean, him to get that pressure without even getting his hips on the other side was crazy. Crazy.
That's all I got. I'm hitting a wall over here.
Yeah, no, pretty decent card.
Decent card, yeah. I thought with the start when we got a couple like quick like first round finishes, I was like, oh, we're gonna get like another card like that first London card after COVID. Wasn't quite that.
There was
some good stuff.
The Mick Parkin to Sam Patterson. You're like, all right, like we're cooking.
Yes.
Like we got something going here.
And then there's like 7 straight decisions. But then Paddy brought us back. Paddy woke the crowd up. His walkout, everything about Paddy's fight woke the crowd
Paddy
up.
was, I mean, obviously Aspinall, Muhammad, and Belal were unbelievable. But I feel like it's hard. I guess Belal does get the number 1 W, but the second W I think is Paddy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Belal really did shut a lot of people up. Like people,
I thought he was going to get 50-45 or knocked out. Yeah, and he was amazing.
So, I mean, but Paddy, and it's exciting too. Like, I think it's really good for the UFC to have kind of an exciting guy like this.
Hell yeah. Definitely. All right. That was the Spinning Backfist MMA show. Thanks everyone for tuning in, staying up late with us. We'll be back next week.